even the boss babe that's masculine, it's suppressing the feminine even more. You have both for a reason, and you get to use both. My name's Brittini. It's like Brittany and Martini combined, Brittini. I am the creator, like Taylor said, of Big Pussy Energy, which is this movement of waking women up to actually the places that we've been taught to be the most afraid of and shamed of is where our power lies.
Hey, I'm Taylor Davis. Welcome to Wildly Satisfied. I hope you enjoy the show. Surprise, everybody! Yay! We're back for a bonus episode.
Orgasm legs!
Love that you just threw that in there.
Yeah. You'll know if you do BP on demand what that is, but we'll keep it between.
I love it. Yeah, so you just got really like
initiated without knowing it.
Welcome. And for anyone who has not listened, this is Brittini Burton. She owns and is the creator, founder, all the things of Big Pussy Energy. TM. That's right. No stealing that.
You can't.
That shit.
I own that shit.
That's right.
I say because I just got it 2 weeks ago. It's like I just officially became the owner of it. Very big.
I get it. I have some of those in the works and I'm like, let's go.
Yeah, it takes 2 years.
Yeah, it takes forever.
Yeah.
But Big Pussy Energy, otherwise known as BPE.
Yep.
If you guys have already been on the platform for a while, we did a series a little while back. So you're welcome to go and tune in there. Some really great episodes around feminine leadership, censorship, sensuality,
shame slaying,
all the things. But we wanted to throw in another episode just randomly. So surprise. Inside of this season, because one thing that I have really found in terms of nervous system regulation, in terms of being able to embody my feminine leadership, is knowing how to move and how to function in a world where they tell you, well, you just need to sit down, put your head down and just dive into it.
Absolutely not.
I know, hustle culture is out. Please don't do it. As the feminine, we are not meant to function that way at all.
No.
And so the reason why I wanted to have this conversation around this, and we won't go super deep into nervous system regulation because that is on other episodes, but with Britini, and what I really wanted to talk about was embodiment and having the practice to be able to ground yourself. So can you talk a little bit about what you recommend and how your practice really helps you ground yourself?
Yeah, I have a few things. So with sensual embodiment, I like to say there's 4 pillars. I fucking made these up. This is
good, let's go.
This is not research. This is just truly what has worked for all the hundreds of women that I worked with.
Everything's made up, so.
Everything's made up.
Let's do it.
Sensual embodiment, how I do it is your eyes are closed. Because the number one sense, you take in 50% of your outside world through your eyes. And so when you turn off the sense of eyesight, you're illuminating your inner world, which is like we've said in the past, is where your power is held. Your power is not outside of you, it's within you. So when you shut down the sense of sight, you're illuminating that already knowing within you. And then, so sight's gone. And then to ground yourself, touch is another pillar. You're touching your body, but really slow. And that itself is what helps regulate your nervous system, because you're slowing down. The nervous system doesn't like fast things. It likes to slow. And so if you notice that you're really busy in the mind, closing your eyes and slowly bringing your hands to your body to touch yourself is a crucial and beautiful, easy to do step. Even if it's just your hand on your arm and you're just slowly touching your arm as your eyes are closed, and instead of thinking of whatever, or even thinking of the breath, sometimes they tell you to meditate and think of your breath, just feel the sensation on your skin. So if you're not driving and you want to do this practice with me real quick, we can do that together. So yes. Close your eyes, take a deep breath in through your nose, let it out the mouth. Let's do one more deep breath in and connect this one all the way down into your pussy and hold at the top. And moan it out. And now slowly bring your fingertips to your forearm. And touch your forearm as if it's the first time that your fingertips have ever touched something so beautiful. You have nowhere to go in this very moment, just slowly touching yourself. And while you're touching, allow the sensation of your fingertips touching your skin. Experience the pleasure that your fingertips are getting. And at the same time, recognize and feel the pleasure that your skin is receiving from your fingertips. Experiencing a whole new meaning of pleasure, knowing that pleasure doesn't come from only certain body parts, but it can be experienced anywhere and everywhere. And let's take one more deep breath in. Moan it out. And open your eyes when you're ready. And so I feel really more grounded just from doing that.
Me too. I was like, oh, I didn't expect that. Okay.
Yeah. What's like a word that you're feeling right now from that?
Soft.
Like 3 minutes.
Like soft.
Yeah, softened.
Yeah, because I know that like recording wise, you're just like kind of like all the energy's up here and you're on. And I'm like, ooh, I feel softer.
Yeah.
I love that. What about you?
I definitely just feel more grounded and more present. Mm-hmm. And that was literally doing that for like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And so that's like why sensual embodiment is so powerful, because you don't need anything outside of you to do that.
Yeah.
It's all within you.
No, I loved that. So
closing your eyes is my biggest hack.
Oh yeah, 1000%. Even put a blindfold on.
Yeah.
Like just get out of your head and into your body. Mm-hmm. So you said the 4 pillars, because I just want to make sure we had them.
So yeah, touch was the one, eyesight, breath. So the moaning and like the exhale, because breath is a way to circulate energy. We hold a lot of stagnant energy because we shallow breathe, and we've been taught to suck our belly in. And so when you just inhale really deeply, connect it all the way down into your pussy, and then moan it out, you're circulating the stuck stagnant energy in your body internally. And then the 4th pillar is movement. And movement is, if you go to BP on Demand, is everything, and everything in BP is movement based, because movement, like we said in the first episode, is how we move and how we release energy, and not only release energy but cultivate our own inner energy. A lot of what I do in sensual embodiment and BPE is hip movement, which is the feminine more. And like I said in our first episode, like there's not a lot of representation of feminine ways to connect your feminine energy, and that's through slow circular hip movement, because our sacral chakra is in our like womb space right above the pelvis, and that's the energy of life force, turn on, creativity, and that's all feminine. And so when you start moving your body, connecting to that sacral chakra, it opens that up within you. And a lot of the times after a 90-minute class, that all we're doing is movement. Sometimes it's slow movement, sometimes it's twerking, but at the end, women feel more energized, women feel more excited and empowered, they feel sexy, and it's not, we just move, like we just burn calories. It's not a workout, but you are burning your calories, but they feel more energized than when they walked in, and that's from their own life force energy.
And I know that like this from personal experience, and I've had a lot of work on this and like body work with the people that I really trust, is we lock so much in our hips and so much energy here, and it's like even just the moving of your hips is such a beautiful way to start. Like if you're like, I don't know where to start moving, it's like just move your hips.
Close your eyes, touch your body, sit on the ground, move your hips. If you have the free morning routine, that's literally what that is.
Yeah, we'll have the link for that down below. But like you guys just doing that in the morning, I think it's a really beautiful nervous system regulation technique. Just a small one. If you're like, I don't know what this means, like just start doing that for the feminine power.
Oh my God, it's insane. And like what you said with your hips, like our body holds a lot of trauma and unprocessed emotions, and most of it is stored in your hips. And especially for women, it can be also stored in your pussy, because your pussy there's a lot of muscular structure, and so the muscles can hold it. And so to release, it's just by moving your hips. And I like to say in class, and like what I say in the sensual embodiment practices on BP on Demand, is like, allow your hips to move you. Trust that your hips know how to move to release and shake out the energy that no longer serves you. And let that be like how you slowly start to trust yourself through your body.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. I'm feeling very soft right now, and I want to really quickly dive into slowing down and really quickly. Just realized I said that. Words, man. Talk about the softening, because I know you said something to me that I was like, whenever we think of like surrender or softness, there's so much around slowing down and how we like lose a sense of power because of it. And I would love for you to just touch on that.
Yeah, I had a friend of mine who's like a really big leader in the community for women, and she was like, I don't want to soften. Like she comes to my classes, but it's hard for her to come to my classes because she's like, I don't want to soften because I don't want to lose my power. And that like really, that's what like gave me the idea that that's how people view it. That power is very masculine. Power is very like loud and controlling, and that's because we've been reflected that is the power that controls most of the world today. However, softening does not equal doormat, because we've also been reflected that a woman who's soft is like has no backbone. That's what people think softening is, or a doormat and easily manipulated. People pleasing. And because I don't know about you, but that's what I saw the women in my lineage be like. But that's not softening. That is looking outside yourself for power.
Yeah.
That's looking outside yourself. And so when it comes to softening is coming from the heart space. Like when I think of someone who doesn't lead from the heart, they're leading from the mind. It's very like go, 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 it's masculine.
Very rigid,
and very like, how do I fix this? Like, how do I get out? How do I make this work? Whereas softening is like, it's the exhale, and it's surrender, and it's knowing that it's taking charge, that you will trust that you know what is right and what is next. I think there's a lot of miscommunication of like, oh, just surrender, don't do anything, and that used to fuck me up too. I was like, what do you even mean by that? Because that doesn't get you anywhere. And I think that's where a lot of women get really confused. I know I did.
Yeah.
And I know you probably have something about that.
I do, yeah. I just had this conversation recently, but something I call the pendulum swing. It's like you go, right? When you've been so in your masculine for so long and rigid and running like boss babe, getting it done, all the things of what we thought of as business.
Like early 2010s. That was 2012, baby.
Like all the things where you're like, I have to work hard, I got to put my head down, I got to hustle. And like that rhetoric has gone out a lot too. Well, you're on one side of the spectrum, and then the pendulum swings and you're like, fuck this, I don't want to do anything. And everyone's like, let it be easier. Let it be easier than you're making it, is what I say, because we always make it harder.
Yeah.
But when you automatically swing to the opposite end of the pendulum because you're like, fuck this, I'm not going to do anything, and then that doesn't feel good for your nervous system, and you're not able to actually soften. You're just kind of like bypassing in a way. You're like, I don't care if the business,
wind take you.
Let the wind go where I want to go.
Universe, take me.
I'm like, that's also an extreme. And I'm like, and you need to come back to the middle at some point and be like, no, my masculine does a very beautiful thing for me, but I know it holds me. It wants me to be safe. It was just very like hyper vigilant. And then my feminine was like, fuck you, liberated, not doing anything. And it coming back into the middle and being like, hey, actually, masculine, we're going to move and we're going to do things. But from the feminine, I'm going to be like, okay, I know what I need to do. It's very soft. It's very knowing energy. It's very different than a lot of the things that we've been taught. And so
it's not pushing yourself further than you need to go. Like, I know there's some days where I'm just like forcing myself to do something just to say I've done it, and I'm getting nowhere. And that's where that's where you get to lean into the feminine and be like, okay, I'm going to actually probably gain more if I go into an embodiment session for 30 minutes and allow that to be like that space, and then come back to work and see what comes through my creative energy.
Yeah, like we need to go.
You need both. That's what the yin yang is. Like, you're not just the masculine, you're not just the feminine, and our society wants to make you just the masculine. Even the boss babe, that's masculine, it's suppressing the feminine even more. And so you have both for a reason, and you get to use both.
I always say 80-20. It's like if you have a feminine core, it's like 80% feminine, 20% masculine. It serves you. If you have like a masculine core, these are random numbers, by the way, I just made them up.
David Data said a similar thing.
Oh, really? I need to read some of this stuff.
Yeah. It's a little dated, but you get what you need to get from it.
Yeah. Well, and then even like with the masculine, it's 80% masculine, 20% feminine. Like, we got to honor both sides to us. We just approach things differently. And
I think it's different seasons too.
Yeah.
Like, if you're building your business,
different season.
There will be a lot more masculine in there because like, I know for me, I became an entrepreneur not because I wanted to, because BP needed me to. And so I literally the first year, hired shit ton of business coaches because I didn't even know what was I didn't know what I was doing. And it was a lot of math. It was learning how to be the masculine in this.
Yep.
And that was the season where that was really what I needed. And then, you know, now I'm like coming, like you said, the pendulum, that was the pendulum. And now year 2, I'm coming more in the middle because I flex my masculine muscle because it was not developed in the way I needed it to be.
And I think the old model we had of like, oh my God, I gotta do and go, like there's a season for masculine. I agree so much. And at the same time, that season of masculine doesn't need to equal burnout. It doesn't need to equal hustle and like that version of, but there's going to be, I always say intense effort now. I'm like, there's going to be a season of intense effort where I'm like, I'm doing things, but I'm still in my feminine. It's just, I'm not like in my feminine. It's like a little bit different. Yeah. And so just know that there is an alternative, but there will be times when you're more so doing than you are like leaning back and receiving. And so
and trusting.
And trusting.
Feminine is trust. And there's been seasons, like if you're an entrepreneur, there has been seasons where I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. I knew the vision, but I didn't know how to get there. Yep. And there was months where I was like just doing things to get by, but a lot of it was just trusting that whatever I'm going through will lead a way to a different door that I didn't see on the other side.
I love that you said that because I feel that a lot right now. Like I definitely.
Girl, it's a journey. You open one door, then you look for the next, and it takes you a minute to find it. It's like you open the door, but there's still more doors to go through.
It's true though. Yeah,
it's true.
I want to, and if there's anything else you want to talk on this, I just really wanted to drop this episode here because in times I've had so many conversations lately about burnout and about nervous system regulation and about doing things differently when it comes to feminine business. And as we up level, as we surrender to the thing that we're meant to do in the world, yours is BPE, your body of work that will, it'll shift and change but it's like, this is something that is my body of work for my life. I feel that because that's what Wildly Satisfied is to me. And there's this moment, I don't know if you had this, so let me know. But there's this moment when you accept it and you're like, okay, like it came in and you were like, there might have been a part of you that's like, okay, but there's a part of you was like, it's like now. There's no hold, like this child is about to be birthed. This thing is about to be birthed where you went all in and you just trusted. You didn't know how or what it was going to be. And in those moments, like really being able to navigate that and know that the path is not always burnout and the path is not always, I'm going to stress until I die and like do it this way.
And it can feel like death.
It can feel like a death. Yeah. There's like a whole version of you that's going to die for something else to come through. And I feel like it doesn't have to be as painful as we make it, but you're going to be challenged and entrepreneurship is the biggest self-development journey.
Girl, starting BPE, starting also the darkest times of my life.
Yes.
And I am not the same woman. I was a girl, even though it was 2 years ago. I was a girl when I started BPE. I actually had a different experience. I like thought of BPE and then the next day I trademarked it. Like I was like, I'm fucking ready. I moved to Austin 6 months later, BPE Grows created. Like there was no lack period.
No, actually I have this. Oh my God. Okay. I'm so glad you said that because
it was just like, go.
No, okay. A couple years ago, I was living nomadically also, and I got this like, how you function intuitively and how you operate, and that's where like the Wildly Intuitive handle came from. And I was like, that's going to be the thing. And I was like, no, it's not quite the thing. And then I went through I had like a drop in, the idea of Wildly Satisfied. I had a 13-month Wildly Satisfied journey. Oh yeah. And in the middle of that was when I decided to move to Austin. And then within 6 months of moving to Austin, I was like, here's the platform. Yeah. Well, it's like a year into moving to Austin, but it's the same type of situation where you're like, oh, no, this is happening.
Oh yeah, it's 100% happening. And then when I decided it was happening, I had a block party like 3 months after. It was like a really big block party launch party of 60 women outside, and they all were in lingerie, and it was so hot. I brag. Oh. It was insane, highbrow, lowbrow. It was just such a crazy outdoor. It was outdoors, and I made everyone yell pussy.
Oh my God!
Out in the middle of Austin. It was insane, I brag. But I was like, I started BPE and that was like 3 months in, and I needed to go through the intensity that BPE and being an entrepreneur led me down to come out and be this woman that I am now today. And so if you are becoming an entrepreneur, like, and you know what you're creating and putting out in the world is your dharma and going to impact the world and help people connect deeper to themselves, that's what it is. Just also know that it's a wild journey, but there's no way I could not do it.
No.
I can't imagine not doing this.
Me neither.
Even though it's been the most painful, but the most pleasurable experience of my life.
Same. And I feel like too, part of why I wanted to do this season and what you're listening to and everything is so you have resources, so it doesn't have to be as painful. Whether
you're
it's
not alone.
You're doing it alone. Whether you're not, like, go find your community.
Yeah.
You're the feminine. You're meant to be in community. Find people who you can, if you can't pay for it, trade for it. Like, find ways for you to honor how you're meant to operate with your feminine energy and your masculine and your human design and whatever else you want to throw in there, and regulate your fucking nervous system.
Yeah.
Because you having capacity to be the feminine leader that you're meant to be means that you're going to have to shift, go through some crazy shit, and hold a lot of things. And to increase that capacity, you need to have a nervous system that is able to do that, and sensual embodiment is one thing that you can do to be able to do that. So, oh my God, I love that we did this. I'm so glad for this bonus episode. If you guys want anything from Brittini, there's going to be links in the description as always. And of course, Brittini Burton, BPE, Big Pussy Energy. This was fantastic. If you guys have questions, also, Q&A forms always down below. And if you have questions for her, I will definitely direct them to you. So we loved having you guys. Please feel free to go check out the rest of the platform, and we will talk to you soon.
Okay. Bye.
Bye. Thank you so much for listening to this Wildly Satisfied production. I hope you enjoyed the show, and we would love it if you would share it with someone that you love, leave a review, or come tag us on social media at Wildly Satisfied.